Quick little news item here coming across the desk yesterday afternoon. Cincinnati has sued former quarterback Brendan Sorsby, of course, now at Texas Tech, alleging that he breached his NIL contract with the Bearcats when he refused to pay a $1 million exit fee. Cincinnati's attorneys said the quarterback's representative advised that Sorsby refuses to pay the university anything, billable hours. Bud, is this, we have seen and discussed universities and specifically football programs opting not to pursue some of this, legal recourse. Duke obviously did with Darian Mensah. But there are other cases too, where I think we've said it's almost like for future, messaging to recruits or prospects, a little bit of your reputation among players. What did you make of Cincinnati actually choosing to try and get after Sorsby for a mill?
I think the timing of this is interesting, right? So he had to pay it within 30 days, pretty standard,
right?
And didn't. But what's happened within those 30 days? You've seen other teams, pay the buyouts, right? And so maybe Cincinnati's saying, we got to balance the factors here. Like, do we really want to be in the business of suing our players? I think other schools are interested in this as well because, does it set the precedent that this is like an employment contract?
That's what yes, these are all
not a contract for NIL. Which, remember, emanating from the House settlement, all this is supposed to be. The rev share is for your NIL, right? Mm-hmm. It's not for your services on the field, of course. It's for your NIL, right? Because you don't pay long-term disability and long-term medical for NIL, of course. So I think that there are people in the industry watching this, pretty closely. But after Mensah, after what happened at Washington and other places that buyouts were paid, if I'm sensing it's a former player, and are we really going to have a bad reputation for this? Does it also have a chilling effect for other players deciding to maybe try to transfer out next year or not? I think they probably just balance the factor, say, okay, he owes us $1 million. Will we actually get $1 million? Don't know. Your legal costs start to rack up on this as well, obviously. So maybe if they can get something out of it, then they get some money back, right?
All I know is, had I known this beforehand, I would not have had Sorsby at 6 on my list yesterday. Would have knocked him down a few pegs. I mean, I want a quarterback who pays his debts.
Speaking of quarterbacks, I thought did you guys find that this was a hard list to make yesterday?
Yes. After the first 3, from that 7 to 15-ish range, there's pretty much any guy I could have tossed in there and not felt terrible about.
We all had a really similar top 4 or 5.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That'd be my question for you, Bud. And Bud's list we were able to get at the end of the show, and I know the graphics have been made. Where did you draw your line? That was one of our final questions. Where did you feel like you could say that's a tier, and then you jump into the next set of debates and conversations?
Yeah. I didn't just among y'all's list guys I didn't have, right? I didn't have Hoover. But it wouldn't shock me if he ends up being really good. I do think he's talented.
No, but within your 10, where does the drop off happen?
I thought it was kind of a 4, and maybe a 5, like maybe Maeva. But Trinidad's really good too, and I do think Mensah's really damn good. So kind of like a mini tier at 4. I do think Dante, Julian, Arch, and Carr are kind of a different level, and then maybe a mini tier of 5, 6, 7. But I mean, if Geronimo Cal, if you told me, hey, he's the best quarterback in college football next year, I don't think he's going to be, but it's not outside the realm possibility that based on the level of throws he made last year, and operating a dirty pocket, which he had sometimes, certainly that wouldn't totally shock me.
Don't forget Cal also second in the ACC in drop rate last year, and they have retooled the wide receiver room through the transfer portal.
They're loaded at receiver, and they're going to need to be because their schedule gets quite a bit more challenging this year than it was last year. I think Sorsby's a little more of a runner than he is a thrower.
100%.
We got a lot of pushback from Georgia fans for not having Gunner on there. But
they didn't listen to the show. Then we
I'm
talked.
like, he's 11 to 25 for me, like a really valuable, nice college quarterback.
Was I the only one who had Gunner in the top 10?
Yeah,
I think so.
I had him like 12. I think.
Yeah, right. He's
I took my list all the way out to 30, and Gunner's still right there on the edge where I feel he's comfortably above some of those next 15 to 25. But he just didn't make my top 10, and so we'll see.
Kirby's got your three faces pinned on the wall in that locker room right now.
The other thing I felt too with mine, like the top, I would say 5. I think I had a similar top 4, and I had, add one more in there possibly. It's like, all right, I get it. You disagree. Like, I'm not ready to dig my heels in. Like, if you disagree, I had Trinidad Chambliss a little bit lower, and we talked about that, worried about him without Lane Kiffin and without Charlie Weis. I'm like, yeah, I saw it. I get it. Like, if you want to have him in your top 5, by all means, go ahead. Like, it wasn't something, even though there was a lot of, hey, you're an idiot type stuff. You don't even watch games. Like, I get that. But like most of the people that responded, like there was a lot of mess to make. I'm like, yeah, I see it. Put him on your top 10. Just didn't make mine. But I think the one thing that was pretty overwhelming is how different this year going into the season is last year. Because last year it was such a crapshoot. So many guys, first-year starters, new programs, so much uncertainty. The level of talent that's coming back should provide a really fun year of college football with some pretty high-level quarterback play you would expect.
One last thing on Sorsby before I hit a break and then we get into NFL draft. I could not help but consider that if Brendan Sorsby had transferred, I don't know, to anywhere not named Texas Tech with the money gun, that it's like there's a little bit of like, if you're Cincinnati and you're doing the math on this, is there public sentiment? I mean, even the tailgate, as soon as we started talking about this story, it's like, oh, well, Texas Tech can roll out of bed and peel off $1 million, like there's a little bit of this that does sort of check out in terms of Cincinnati might not be getting that much blowback because college football public at large just thinks $1 million isn't a lot for Texas Tech to be able to help Brendan Sorsby cover. And the reason why Brendan Sorsby is at Texas Tech, in addition to whatever his relationship status may be with anyone on the volleyball team, really does come down to Texas Tech being one of the highest bidders for one of the top quarterbacks in the portal. Am I wrong there?
No, I especially with it being in conference.
Yeah. You gotta be able to draw some lines somewhere. So we'll see if anything does end up coming of that. Like Bud said, a lot of people within the industry just each one of these cases setting a little bit of precedent in a time where there are very, very murky rules and sort of standards for how some of these transfers and how some of these contracts are dealt with.